What is going on, people? Shaggy Bets here with betting news, and football is starting soon. You can smell it in the air, and we begin college football week 0 this Saturday with 4 games on the slate. So, of course, it's time to talk about another Power 4 conference. So, this is our Big 12 conference preview for the 2024 season, a conference that is near and dear to my Midwestern heart. Now, the Big 12 features 16 total teams this year after adding 4 new members of the Pac 12 conference. The Big 12 added Arizona State, Arizona, Colorado, and Utah, who will all be competing in the Big 12 for this next athletic season. And the Big 12 also saw the departure of 2 powerhouse football schools that have been running the conference for some time. The Oklahoma Sooners and the Texas Longhorns both left the Big 12 and joined the SEC, making that an even bigger powerhouse of college football. However, those 2 football schools are gone, and the Big 12 is so up in the air and very up for grabs in terms of a conference champion. And that's exactly what the Vegas odds would suggest. So let me pull up the Vegas odds for you for the Big 12 conference winner. And as you can see, Utah sitting there at a plus 325 favorite, with the Kansas State Wildcats not far behind them at plus 400. You see Oklahoma State at plus 600 and unranked UCF at the number 4 spot at plus 650. A new face, the Kansas Jayhawks, down there at plus 850, along with the Iowa State Cyclones at plus 900. And then newcomers, the Arizona Wildcats at plus 1200. You've also got Texas Tech, TCU, and West Virginia all listed at 18-1, and Colorado at plus 2,000 as well. But looking at the bottom of this Big 12 conference, there are very clearly 5 teams that are going to be terrible this season. Baylor, Cincinnati, Arizona State, and Houston, and BYU all longer than 66-1 to win the Big 12. So pay attention to those 5 teams. Although I won't touch on them specifically, they will come in handy later. Talking about scheduling, because of course, with these big, massive Power 4 conferences, you do not play every team in your conference. And that's the case with this Big 12. It results in a lot of lopsided scheduling. Now, the Big 12 does have 5 teams ranked in the top 25 to begin the season. You've got the Utah Utes at number 12, the Oklahoma State Cowboys at number 17, Kansas State Wildcats at number 18, the Arizona Wildcats at number 21, and then the Kansas Jayhawks ranked at number 22. And as you can see on the odds boards, UCF unranked, but still the 4th favorite to take this Big 12. That shows you just how deep this conference is. So, of course, let's touch on who might win the Big 12 conference. We will start with the Utah Utes up top, the betting favorite. But they have a lot of question marks in my mind, starting with their quarterback of Cam Rising. He's coming back off an injury. He's supposed to be the guy he was in the past, but I'm not sure that's going to be the case. As far as Utah, their defense will carry them as far as they can go, but they do have a tough schedule playing at Oklahoma State, Arizona, and Iowa State as well. They do play UCF on the road, which could end up being a tricky game to end the season. Utah's got a lot of travel involved in this spread out Big 12, and with the question marks at quarterback, I am not very high on the Utah Utes to win the Big 12. I don't think they should be the betting favorite. However, they are going to be a very tough football team. Let's move on next to the Kansas State Wildcats, sitting at plus 400. Avery Johnson took over the starting quarterback position for Will Howard last year. He proved to be able to do it with his legs, but the big question is going to be whether he can sling the pill with his arm enough for the Wildcats to score in bunches and keep up with some other very high-flying offenses in the Big 12. My problem with Kansas State is they do have a tough schedule. While they do play 4 out of the bottom 5 teams in the Big 12, they do play 3 ranked opponents and Iowa State in the process. Kansas State has to go up against Arizona, Oklahoma State, and Kansas. However, they are all hosting those games that will play into their favor. They end the game on the road at Ames, Iowa, taking on the Iowa State Cyclones. I could see Kansas State sneaking into the college football playoff and maybe the Big 12 championship as well. I think this team is going to be sneaky good, but they do have a tougher schedule at hand. So let's move on to those Iowa State Cyclones. Actually, we see them down at plus 900, unranked, but still somewhat of a favorite to win this conference. They are sneaky good, but I worry about their schedule as well. Three of their 4 toughest games are going to be on the road at Iowa, at Kansas, and at Utah. They also host UCF and Kansas State, and they only play 3 of those bottom 5 teams in the Big 12. Iowa State is good. Matt Campbell has proven to be a good coach and has plenty of returning starters, but I'm not so sold on the Cyclones to really top this conference. Let's take a look at the Arizona Wildcats, who are down there a little bit further on the odds board, a newcomer in this conference, and they're ranked number 21 overall. Noah Fida leads this Wildcats team into the Big 12. They do play 3 of the bottom 5 teams in the Big 12. However, their 3 toughest matches are all on the road. Arizona will have to travel and face the Kansas State Wildcats in Manhattan, the Utah Utes on the road, and then travel all the way to Central Florida to take on the Golden Knights. I think this is a lot of travel for an Arizona team that might not be used to it. Sophomore quarterback at the head. I'm not very high on Arizona as well this year. So who do I have to win this conference? Well, I'm taking 2 stabs at a couple of long shots, starting with the Oklahoma State Cowboys at plus 800. Did a little bit of line shopping, but I do like the Oklahoma State Cowboys to have a chance to win this Big 12. I've been talking about lopsided schedules, and the Cowboys have one. The 2 toughest games on their schedule are against Utah at home and then at Kansas State in Manhattan. I think Ollie Gordon Jr. is a sneaky Heisman candidate and will run all over these Big 12 defenses. It could be very smooth sailing for the Cowboys starting off. They host Arkansas, West Virginia, and Texas Tech, who are all very lackluster opponents. I think they could easily start off 5-0 and move on to this Big 12 championship. The back half of their schedule is very easy. 7 straight wins could be in store for the Cowboys if they get past Utah and Kansas State. So I really like the Cowboys at these odds at plus 800 to take the Big 12. And then, of course, it wouldn't be Shaggy without a little bit of a homer play. The Kansas Jayhawks at plus 1,000 to win the Big 12. Football is back in Kansas, ladies and gentlemen, and the Jayhawks will go as far as Jalen Daniels will take them, assuming he stays healthy. Now, that is going to be the biggest thing for the Jayhawks, is if Jalen Daniels can stay healthy for the entire season. They're returning tons of starters on both sides of the ball from this 9-4 bowl-winning team last year. Daniels has yet to play 10 games in a season for the Jayhawks, but with their easier schedule, I see them being a very good pick at these odds to win the Big 12 at plus 1,000. Kansas, the 2 toughest games on their schedule are at Kansas State and hosting Iowa State. They also play UCF as well, but they get to avoid Utah, they get to avoid Arizona, and they get to avoid Oklahoma State. 3 of the big names in this Big 12 conference. Along with that, Kansas plays 4 of the bottom 5 teams in the Big 12. So I think they've got plenty of easy wins on that schedule. They do not have a tough non-conference schedule at all. And I could see the Jayhawks being a 2-loss Big 12 champion. So that is all I've got for you guys today. That was the Big 12 Conference as a whole. Be sure to click the link below in this article for a more in-depth look at the conference. But my 2 winners, a couple of long shots, the Oklahoma State Cowboys to win at plus 800 and the Kansas Jayhawks to win the Big 12 at plus 1,000. Maybe both of those teams meet in the championship game, and we are sitting pretty with both those tickets in our back pocket. I hope this was useful for you, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. Follow us at Your Betting News on Twitter and TikTok for everything you need sports betting wise. Go check us out at bettingnews.com to get all of our free content, and follow me as well at Shaggy_bets for my daily Twitter card. Appreciate you guys stopping by. Thank you very much. Peace.
What you know about rolling down in the deep? Riding in the deep. Down in the deep. Now I know y'all be loving this shit right here. About rolling. What you gonna do? Rolling. What you gonna do? Down in the rolling. What you gonna do? Right, y'all be loving this shit. What you know about